Our issue is we are going through so much change in a season. So if Jurgen Klopp was staying on, I might be more warm to the idea. But we're getting a new manager coming in who's playing a new system that a lot of the team haven't played. He's got loads of different areas that need to be targeted. I just see a striker as towards the bottom of that pecking list, and I know we don't spend, or we have this whole stupid sort of sustainability thing, which we should have outgrown a couple of years ago, but it's going to come back now because the same people are there. So we are going to be limited in a sense in terms of what we spend this summer with so many areas to target. There isn't simply no room in the budget for a £100 million striker unless some stupid person was willing to offer me my money back for Nunes. And that's not going to happen because people are smart in football. We have other bigger areas to address. And there is still, even though I think Ollie Watkins, his numbers are surprisingly good, there are some concerns about how he would necessarily adapt and fit into a lot of these top teams. I think the biggest one is Villa played with two strikers. How would Ollie Watkins be able to straight away adapt to being as that lone striker? Is a bit of a different ask compared to being the second man in a front two. I just don't think we're not in the position to gamble because I think we need a consolidation year under a new manager. Arsenal are in the position to gamble.
Hang on a minute. What do you mean consolidation year? You lot have got to be challenging for the Premier League. You're not in a rebuild.
No, you can be in between both.
No, they're in a transition.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, but you should be. Your expectation should be the challenge for the Premier League next year. You're a title challenging team.
Yes, that is the expectation. But that's a consolidation of what we've done this year. We are not ready for the next step, which is to go and spend £200 million to take that next step.
Why?
Because we've got a new manager coming in who's playing a new system and a new way.
Nonsense.
Yeah, you can win the league with the new manager.
But this is the thing. You're not going to be. It's not going to be this massive overhaul change. There is going to be changes. Of course there is. But there's no way Edwards, one of the best people in the world at running a football club, is going to completely do a U-turn on everything that's been built over the last 7-8 years and make you go in another direction. This summer, you should be going out and spending 200 million on 2 or 3 players to make your squad and first team better with the ideals of trying to win the Premier League. You guys are that should be the expectation, 100%.
I'd love that to be the expectation, but you've got a new manager coming. You've got a new manager coming in and a squad that ultimately is the 3rd best in the league, and bar massive changes either internally or externally, will remain the 3rd best in the league. And there are bigger problems in the football club in terms of contract renewals that need to be done and problem positions that need to be addressed for me to justify a £100 million striker.
How many players do you need to buy?
I'd say we need 4 this summer.
Which is about normal for most clubs every summer as they bring in 4 or 5.
That's not including a striker.
And I understand that. So let's remove the Watkins conversation because I get your point on that. This is an interesting comment, and it just shows that people like to rewrite history. Terry, was Moyes expected to win the Premier League? Yes.
He was.
When Moyes came in, nobody turned around in the media, fans, and went, do you know what? United, as long as they finish anywhere between sort of 1st and 5th, it's good first year for Moyes. He was taking over a title-winning team, and we expected him to at the very least challenge for the title. There was no way I just remember it. No one was like, it's okay if we don't get anywhere near a title. It wasn't, which is why
you could probably find articles where people were saying Manchester United have been left in good hands and he could potentially go on to win it.
If you put in 2013/14
title predictions,
right? You'll probably be able to find some articles from back then. Phil McNulty, he actually had us coming in 3rd. I've just seen it here. The Guardian did their write-up. Okay, this is saying Player of the Year. I mean, again, when you actually look at what people, who are they saying as champions here? Sorry, Player of the Season, league winners. You had City, Chelsea, Man United being mentioned by everybody. And that's the point. You're never going to get every journalist that says Man United. But just reading The Guardian here, we've got 4 or 5 journalists. So you got City. Oh, there was one here. Louise Taylor said Spurs were going to win it that year. There was one Spurs, Man City. There's 2 or 3 Man United. There was definitely journalists and definitely people that expected us to challenge or win the league. So that's my expectations for Liverpool and Slot, that they at the very least challenge and try and win the league. This idea that it's okay for them to not be in a title. I'm not saying you're saying this, Tom. The amount of Liverpool fans I hear saying that someone says you've just proven him right. No, I haven't. I didn't say that everyone in the world expected David Moyes to win the league, but we were expected to be in a title challenge, and our expectation was to try and win the league. What we as Man United fans weren't saying is it's okay to come fourth this year. It's okay to drop off. We wanted to win the league. Now, that doesn't mean if Slot doesn't win it, they should ask for him to be sacked. But at the same time, you shouldn't. I think if you start setting and planting the seeds, it's okay to come fourth. It's okay to be in a transitional year or two. You set a bad standard. So absolutely, Man United.
Terry, isn't it funny how the tune has changed? They were literally a couple of weeks ago. They're saying, "How dare you say Liverpool's going to fall off?" Now they're saying they're accepting not challenging, not winning anything.
And Rom is a Liverpool fan. It's to challenge with a domestic trophy and Champions League semis minimum. Terry, we expect to challenge. There we go, Ray. And do you know what? That's bang on.
That's what a consolidation year is. I'm consolidating what we've done this year, which is if Arne Slot came in and achieved the same as what we've done this year, that's a good first season. You take that, and then you've got to take the next steps beyond that. But I'm not going to sit here and say if we finish 5th and scrape into the Champions League on the last day because some other English club wins the Champions League and that gets us 5 spots, I take it. And I'll be disappointed. But if we come 3rd, we win a domestic cup, and we have a really good showing in the Champions League, you take that in your first season.
Tom, from experience, I'll tell you, whatever you said right now, you're going to change it come the end of the season. Based on the circumstances of how many players come and go, how much changes happen with your backroom staff and everything, you're gonna have a big excuse to say why you came 3rd or potentially 4th if you do come in that situation. If you come 5th, then it's maybe unexcusable. But
but that's why the whole point is you've got to consolidate. You've got to consolidate now. If we still had Jurgen Klopp
3rd again next season.
If we still had Jurgen Klopp, the tune would be different.
Yeah. So I think when Tom says that, fair enough. I think there's a difference between being okay with coming 3rd and reflecting on the season. Stu Mack here says Man United glory hunters versus Man United supporters are completely different. This is the thing. It's your reaction to not getting what you want that is the difference, not expectations. So my expectations up until maybe 6-7 years ago was even the first year under LVG, I was expected to challenge for the Premier League. We still had a vast majority of a squad that had won a Premier League 2 years earlier. But my reaction to not winning it is different is different depending on how you view football. So I think Tom should have the expectation to be in a title race and should want his team to win the league next year. But if they play really good football, come third by say 5-6 points off top, look a really good team in the making, he can take encouragement from that, be supportive of his manager and team, and go again next year. If they finish 1 point off top, have a brilliant season, but Tom's going crazy saying sack the manager, he's a failure, he's the first loser, then you look at that as being a little bit glory hunting and a little bit unrealistic. So I think it's more the reaction to not getting what you want as opposed to your expectation.